Hello, Hillview 7th graders. This is Miss Piombo, and I'm here to talk to you about your 8th grade summer reading assignment. That is the correct one. You'll be an 8th grader when it's due. If you've been to Hillview before, then you kind of know how this goes, but you only do it once a year, so please pay attention anyway. And if you're new to Hillview, obviously, if you have any questions, come see us as soon as possible. One thing that we really want to reiterate in the library is that the goal of summer reading is to help you find books to love. So spend a little bit of time at the beginning choosing the right books, and we are always here to help you with that. And hopefully this will be an assignment that won't be too tricky for you to finish. As in previous years, you are expected to read 2 books this summer. For some of you, that'll be super easy. For other ones, that'll be a stretch. Either way, we're going to try to make it so that you find great books. These books should be new to you, books you haven't read before. They should not have been made into a movie unless they're already on the list. We are aware that some of these books are movies, but we still think that they'll work out okay. Otherwise, you need to check with one of us first, either me or Mrs. Medina. One of the books needs to be from the list that we provide in your packet or by an author who's on the list, and one is complete free choice. Can it be on the list? Of course it can be on the list, or it can be just some other book at your reading level that's appropriate for you that you would love to read. You need to finish this book by the end of the summer. You will have assignments to complete at the beginning of the school year in your English class. In your packet, there's a form that you need to fill out that just says, the titles of the books, and make sure that you get that signed by your parents at the beginning of the school year. And then there's also another form that you need to read with your parents and return to your teacher. It's at the bottom of the letter. You detach that portion and return it to your English teacher. All of the information about summer reading is available to you on our new Hillview Library website, hvlibrary.wordpress.com. You would go over to the Reading tab and choose Summer Reading. You can download copies of the letter home, copies of the summer reading list, copies of the signature slip, and then as it becomes available, we'll start posting information from the public library for their summer reading programs. I know they have a lot of really fun stuff going on. We're going to post that in the library as well, and we do encourage you to take advantage of that. Our library website as well has some great reviews for you if you want some help finding some new books. And down over here on this side, we have our library catalog, and even below that where you can't see is the Overdrive catalog, which we'll talk about in the next slide. You do not have to purchase your books for summer reading. The public library will have lots of copies of the books as well as copies of our lists, and the Hillview Library will be providing ebooks through Overdrive. We will have collections, so you can notice that there's a collection right now for Hillview summer reading for incoming 7th. You would be for incoming 8th graders, and you can download these books onto just about any device. You can read them even on a laptop, even on an iPod. There's directions on the library website, or you can bring your device to us before the end of the school year and we can show you how to check out those books. So now I'd like to give you a preview of some of the books that are on your summer reading list. I would like to point out that anytime you see this icon over here, that means that that book is available for you on Overdrive. We do have another ebook provider. We aren't really adding to that collection, but if you do have the Fall Out Brightwave app on any of your devices, then you can read some of those ebooks as well. Does your family have an emergency stash of food? How long do you think it would last for? A week? 2 weeks? A month? Well, Miranda's really hoping that her family's stash of food lasts a lot longer because the moon has been knocked closer to the earth, and that causes all kinds of problems, including volcanoes that fill the skies with ash, meaning that no more food is going to be produced for the foreseeable future on those farms. So Miranda and her family are struggling every day just to survive. This is a book that made me want to fill my garage with food, but it feels very real. Miranda's a real teen, just like you, living in a particularly normal house until this thing happens. And I have to say that I don't normally do this, but this is one of those books where about midway through, I read to the end. I just went straight to the end and had to know if Miranda survived, because honestly, I didn't see how it was going to happen. If you're willing to be freaked out like that, then I suggest you read Life as We Knew It. And as you can see, it is available on both of our ebook platforms. If you're an action fan, one of these 2 books should be right up your alley. In Steelheart, Brandon Sanderson asks the question, what if superheroes came, but they were evil?
In this book, a young boy tries to overthrow an evil man of steel. David has one thing in his favor and one thing only. He's the only one who's ever seen Steelheart bleed. In Dangerous, a young girl takes a trip to a NASA-like boot camp, but it turns dangerous as she uncovers a plot to destroy the Earth, and it's up to Maisie to become the hero the world needs.
Don't let all the awards on the cover of Kwame Alexander's The Crossover fool you. This is a quick read and a really fun one. Josh loves two things best in the world, basketball and rap, but his twin brother Jordan seems to outshine him in everything. Now Jordan has a girlfriend, their father is mysteriously sick, and with the championship coming up, the brothers can't just ignore each other. They need to learn to work together more than ever.
Gigi and her best friends Bee and Nirja are really smart. They care so much about their grades, they don't care that they're not popular. They don't care that they're not involved in their high school. They just really want to get into an Ivy League university. When Nirja's sister goes off to college, they find her yearbook and realize that nobody wrote anything meaningful in it. And they kind of finally realize, oh my gosh, we are wasting our high school years. So the three girls set out to enjoy themselves in ways they never thought possible. And along the way, they find out that smart girls get what they want. One new thing this year is that your list includes a nonfiction section. You've always been able to read nonfiction for your free choice book, but this year you could potentially even read two. You might want to read Chasing Lincoln's Killer, which is the YA adaptation of James Swanson's book Manhunt, which traces the 12-day pursuit of John Wilkes Booth after he assassinated President Lincoln. I have to confess, I normally don't really enjoy nonfiction. I don't pick it up that often. I couldn't put Chasing Lincoln's Killer down. It has the pacing of a fast-paced thriller. Let Me Play is the story of the Title IX law that made it so that it was illegal to discriminate against girls in federally funded programs. So what this meant was that schools had to provide equal sports opportunities for girls and boys. Now, you don't have to be an athlete to enjoy this book. It really shows how this law had ripple effects that went far beyond the playing fields. Another thing that's new this year is the mature readers section of your summer reading list. So the library is currently preparing a teen section, and this is our little first taste of it. You will need to know yourself as a reader before you pick up these books. They do have some mature themes of various sorts. If you're not sure if a particular book is for you, then you can of course come and talk to me or Mrs. Mathenia, or check out Goodreads or Common Sense Media. Get a feeling for what the book is about. One that I'm really excited about is The Fifth Wave. Cassie has survived 4 waves of an alien invasion. The first wave was an electromagnetic pulse that destroys all electricity on the earth. It basically, planes fall from the sky. It brings us back to the Stone Age. The second wave was natural disasters. The third wave is disease. The fourth wave is something called the silencers, which I won't tell you too much more about. And now Cassie's been separated from her brother. It's not merely enough to survive. She has to go out into the wilderness filled with aliens and try to rescue him. The sequel, The Infinite Sea, I can't tell you too much about that without revealing what happened in The Fifth Wave. I will tell you that if you haven't read it yet and you're a fan of The Fifth Wave, you've got to stick with The Infinite Sea. The beginning is a little slow. Once it picks up, oh my gosh, you will not be disappointed. And you might want to check out The Fifth Wave before the movie starring Chloe Moretz is out. I know they're filming it right now, and I am really looking forward to it. Back in April, we were lucky enough that Kepler's brought us Elizabeth Wein, one of my favorite authors, to come to Hillview. She was promoting her new book, Black Dove, White Raven, and she shared with us a picture of herself while she was barnstorming on a plane. I knew already that she was a pilot, but apparently to prepare for Black Dove, White Raven, she had also gotten onto a plane while it was flying and stood on the wings. Pretty crazy if you ask me. These 3 are the novels in her Young Flyers series. It deals with young people who are also pilots during World War II. In Black Dove, White Raven, it is about 2 kind of siblings who are growing up in Ethiopia as it is being invaded by the Italians, and one of them does become a pilot, in fact. She's most well known for Codename Verity. That is a novel about a girl who is a spy under the codename Verity for the British during World War II. She is captured by the Nazis in Paris and is being being interrogated. This is another novel that starts slowly, though. If you try this and you're like, oh, bored, keep reading, because at a certain point you will realize that Verity is being incredibly sneaky, and everyone thinks that she is a huge traitor, but it's a much more complicated story than that. I told Elizabeth Wine that I scared my husband while I was reading this story because of the immense tears that I shed and the way that I kind of just burst out crying really hard. And she said that she scared her husband while she was writing it. There's a reason why this one is on the mature readers section. Rose Under Fire came out after Codename Verity. It is about a flyer, another British flyer. Her plane is struck down also in enemy territory, and she ends up at Ravensbrück concentration camp, the place where the Nazis were doing medical experimentations on young girls. This is not by any sense an easy book to read, but it is a surprisingly beautiful one, because Rose finds hope and some release in the poetry that she writes and in the friendships that she forms with the girls who are known as the rabbits, the ones who are being experimented on. So you might want to pick up one of Elizabeth Wine's Young Flyers series.
If you're a fan of The Fault in Our Stars, chances are you're eagerly awaiting the movie Paper Towns that comes out on July 24th. But if you haven't already read John Green's book, then you're cheating yourself if you just go to see the movie, because John Green is so funny, I can't even begin to tell you. In this book, Quentin has a childhood friend named Margot, and now she's basically ignoring him all the time. She's much too popular for Quentin. He's kind of a band geek, but he still harbors a secret crush on her. One night, Margot invites Quentin out on an all-night wild revenge spree, but then she disappears the next morning. He thought it was the beginning of something beautiful, and now she's gone. So Quentin goes looking for Margot, but as he unravels clue after clue, he begins to become afraid of what he's going to find. So definitely read the book before the movie comes out.
So that's just a taste of some of the books that you will find on your summer reading list. Remember, one book needs to be from the list or by an author on the list, and one is complete free choice. The Hillview Library is closed over the summer. The local bookstores will have copies of our summer reading lists. Your public libraries, of course, are wonderful resources for you as well. The Hillview Library and the public library also will be providing lots of these books through our Overdrive ebook platform. You're welcome to bring your device to us and we can show you how to use it, or you can check out our online tutorials for help. And if there's any questions that you have about the summer reading list, please come and talk to me or talk to Mrs. Mathenia, even if you just want some help trying to figure out what is the right book for you. We want you to have a wonderful experience with summer reading. So enjoy yourselves, and we will see you in the fall.